Leah slammed the door of her grandmother's old Victorian house in suburban Chicago, the echo reverberating like a gunshot through the quiet neighborhood. "You can't force me to be someone I'm not," she screamed, tears streaming down her face as she clutched a faded photo of Lillian in her trembling hands. In that moment, with the weight of generations crushing her, Leah knew her world was about to shatter forever. Leah Thompson had always felt like an outsider in her own family, even before she understood why. Growing up in the windy suburbs of Chicago, where the winters were brutal and the summers hummed with backyard barbecues, she navigated life with a quiet intensity. Her parents, busy with their corporate jobs downtown, left much of her upbringing to Grandma Evelyn, a stern widow with a Bible in one hand and a rolling pin in the other. Evelyn was the epitome of Midwestern grit born during the Great Depression. She had raised 3 kids single-handedly after Grandpa's early death from a factory accident. To her, family meant tradition, church on Sundays, and marrying a nice boy from the neighborhood. But Leah, at 16, had fallen hard for Lillian Hayes, the new girl at Lincoln High School. Lillian was everything Leah wasn't: bold, artistic, with wild curly hair that defied gravity and a laugh that could light up the gloomiest Illinois day. They met in art class, bonding over charcoal sketches and whispered dreams of escaping to New York City. One rainy afternoon under the bleachers during a skip gym period, Lillian leaned in and kissed Leah. It was electric, a spark that ignited something deep within her. For the first time, Leah felt seen, truly seen. Grandma Evelyn noticed the change immediately. "Who's this Lillian you're always talking about?" she'd ask over dinner, her eyes narrowing like a hawk spotting prey. Leah brushed it off at first, but the questions escalated. Evelyn started inviting boys from church to family gatherings. Awkward setups with Tommy from the youth group or Mike, the neighbor's son who played football. "A girl your age needs a steady beau," Evelyn would say, her voice laced with unspoken warnings. Leah confided in Lillian during stolen moments in the park, their hands intertwined under picnic blankets. "She thinks it's just a phase," Leah whispered, her voice cracking. Lillian pulled her close, her warmth a shield against the world. "We'll show her it's real," Lillian promised, her eyes fierce with determination. As their relationship deepened, the conflicts mounted. Evelyn found a love letter from Lillian tucked in Leah's drawer one day while tidying up. The confrontation was explosive. "This is unnatural, Leah. God didn't make you this way," Evelyn shouted, waving the letter like evidence in a trial. Leah stood her ground, but inside she was crumbling. She loved her grandmother, the woman who had baked her birthday cakes and taught her to ride a bike, but this rift felt insurmountable. Lillian became Leah's anchor. They dreamed of college in New York, where they could live openly, away from the judgmental eyes of Chicago's conservative pockets. But Evelyn wasn't done. She enrolled Leah in church counseling sessions, disguised as youth guidance. The pastor, a kindly but misguided man named Reverend Hayes, no relation to Lillian, spoke of choosing the right path. Leah endured it for Evelyn's sake, but each session chipped away at her spirit. One evening, after a particularly grueling session, Leah fled to Lillian's apartment. Lillian's family was more progressive. Her single mom worked as a nurse and accepted her daughter's orientation with open arms. "You don't have to change for anyone," Lillian said, holding Leah as she sobbed. In that embrace, their love blossomed into something profound, a blend of passion and quiet rebellion. But betrayal lurked in the shadows. Tommy, the church boy Evelyn favored, had been eavesdropping on Leah's confessions. Jealous and misguided, he spread rumors at school, calling their relationship a sin. The backlash was swift. Notes in lockers, whispers in hallways. Leah's parents, caught in the crossfire, sided with Evelyn, urging Leah to think about her future. As summer faded into fall, Leah and Lillian's bond strengthened amid the storm. They attended their first Pride event in downtown Chicago, hidden in the crowd, hands clasped tightly. It was a glimpse of freedom, but Evelyn's disapproval cast a long shadow. Little did Leah know the real drama was just beginning. As Evelyn's health started to decline, hiding secrets of her own. Evelyn's cough started innocuously, a tickle she blamed on the changing seasons. But by winter it had worsened, forcing her to the doctor. The diagnosis was lung cancer, aggressive and unforgiving. Leah was devastated. Despite their differences, Evelyn was the matriarch, the glue holding the family together. "We'll fight this," Leah vowed, sitting by her bedside in the sterile hospital room overlooking Lake Michigan. Lillian supported Leah through it all, bringing homemade soups and sitting vigil during chemo sessions. Evelyn, weakened but still sharp, eyed Lillian with suspicion. "Why are you always here?" she'd snap, her voice raspy. Lillian smiled politely, but inside she seethed. "Because I love your granddaughter," she finally said one day, bold and unapologetic. The words hung in the air like a challenge. Evelyn's face paled, but she said nothing, turning away to stare at the window. Leah squeezed Lillian's hand, a silent thank you. As Evelyn's condition deteriorated, the family dynamics shifted. Leah's parents, Mark and Susan, became more involved, but their support felt conditional. "Maybe now's not the time to rock the boat," Susan whispered to Leah, glancing at Lillian. The high drama unfolded during a family meeting at the house. Evelyn, home on hospice, gathered everyone. "I want Leah to promise me something," she said, her eyes locking on her granddaughter. "Find a good man, settle down. Don't throw your life away on this." The room tensed. Lillian, present at Leah's insistence, stood up. "With all due respect, Mrs. Thompson, love isn't something you can dictate." Evelyn exploded. You're the problem. Corrupting my girl." Accusations flew. Evelyn blamed Lillian for turning Leah. In the heat, Mark sided with his mother, asking Lillian to leave. Betrayal stung Leah like a knife. "Dad, how could you?" she cried. Lillian left in tears and Leah followed, their relationship strained for the first time. That night, in a cheap motel on the outskirts of town, Leah and Lillian reconciled. "I won't let them tear us apart," Leah said, pulling Lillian into a fierce hug. Their love, tested by fire, emerged stronger, laced with deep emotion. They talked for hours about their future. New York art galleries, a life without hiding. But Evelyn's manipulation didn't stop. She confided in Susan about a plan to set Leah up with Mike, the neighbor's son, even from her sickbed. Susan, torn between loyalty and love for her daughter, reluctantly agreed to host a dinner. When Leah arrived, unsuspecting, Mike was there, charming and oblivious. The evening was a disaster. Leah stormed out, feeling betrayed by her own mother. Lillian waited outside, her car idling. "Let's go to New York now," she urged. But Leah couldn't abandon Evelyn. "Not yet," she said, torn between duty and desire. The conflict peaked when Evelyn suffered a setback, landing back in the hospital. Leah spent nights by her side, reading old letters Evelyn had saved, faded correspondence from her youth. One letter caught Leah's eye, addressed to a woman named Clara. The words were tender, speaking of forbidden love during wartime. Leah's heart raced. Was this a clue? She confronted Evelyn gently. "Who's Clara, Grandma?" Evelyn's eyes filled with tears, but she waved it away. "Old history. Nothing for you." As spring approached, Evelyn's time grew short. Lillian, despite the hostility, visited secretly, bringing flowers. Their presence brought a fragile peace. But the real betrayal came from within the family. Mark discovered Leah's plans to move with Lillian and threatened to cut her off financially. "Choose family or her," he demanded. Leah chose love, but the decision weighed heavy. In quiet moments, she and Lillian shared dreams of a wedding someday, perhaps in Central Park. Their romance amid the drama was a beacon: walks along the Chicago River, stolen kisses in coffee shops, whispers of forever. Evelyn's death came suddenly, on a rainy April morning. The family gathered, grief thick in the air. At the reading of the will, the lawyer revealed a letter from Evelyn, addressed to Leah. As she read it aloud, the room fell silent, the truth unfolding like a long-buried flower. The letter trembled in Leah's hands as she stood in the dimly lit lawyer's office in downtown Chicago, surrounded by family portraits on the walls. Evelyn's handwriting, once strong and looping, was now frail. "My dearest Leah," it began, "I've spent my life trying to protect you from the pain I knew too well, but in doing so I caused you more. Forgive me." The room held its breath. Evelyn confessed. In her youth, during World War II, she had fallen in love with Clara, her best friend and nursing colleague. They shared a secret romance amid the chaos of rationing and air raids, dreaming of a life together after the war. But societal pressure and family expectations forced Evelyn to marry Grandpa, burying her true self. "I thought I was saving you from that heartache," she wrote. But love like ours isn't a choice, it's who we are. Tears streamed down Leah's face. The revelation was a seismic shift. Mark and Susan sat stunned, their faces pale. "Mom, why didn't you tell us?" Susan whispered. The letter continued. Evelyn had followed Leah and Lillian once, seeing their genuine happiness, and regretted her interference. "Live your truth, Leah. And know that I loved Clara until my last breath. Perhaps in heaven we'll both be free." The emotional weight crashed over Leah like a wave. She excused herself, stepping into the bustling street, the honks of taxis and chatter of pedestrians a stark contrast to her inner turmoil. Lillian was waiting at a nearby cafe, her eyes searching Leah's face. "What happened?" she asked softly. Leah collapsed into her arms, sobbing. "She was like us, Lil. All this time she was hiding too." They held each other as the truth sank in. The woman who had tried so hard to fix Leah had been broken by the same forces. It was a profound moment of understanding, bridging generations. But the drama wasn't over. Mark, grappling with the revelation, confronted Leah that evening at home. "I was wrong," he admitted, his voice breaking. "I let fear guide me, just like Mom did." It was a tentative reconciliation, laced with raw emotion. Susan, too, apologized, hugging Leah tightly. "We want you happy." Lillian joined them for dinner that night, the first without tension. Stories flowed. Evelyn's hidden letters, Clara's fate. She had married and moved away. But they corresponded until her death. The family began to heal, but not without scars. Leah felt a mix of anger and compassion for Evelyn. "She suffered in silence," Leah said to Lillian later, as they walked hand in hand through Grant Park, cherry blossoms falling like confetti. Their romance deepened in the aftermath. They moved to New York that summer, renting a tiny apartment in Brooklyn. Lillian pursued her art, exhibiting in local galleries, while Leah studied journalism at NYU. The city pulsed with energy. Subway rides, street performers, the freedom to kiss without fear. But echoes of Chicago lingered. A new conflict arose when old friends from home visited. Tommy, remorseful, reached out to apologize. "I was ignorant," he said over coffee in a bustling Manhattan diner. Leah forgave him, but it stirred old wounds. Lillian, ever protective, reminded her, "We've come so far." High tension built when Leah received a package from Susan, Evelyn's old jewelry box, containing a locket with photos of Evelyn and Clara. Inside was a note. "For you and Lillian." It was a symbol of acceptance, but it triggered Leah's grief. She spiraled, questioning if she could ever fully escape the past. Lillian pulled her through, their love a steady force. They attended therapy together, unpacking the layers of family trauma. Romantic evenings in Central Park, picnics under the stars, reinforced their bond. "We're building our own story," Lillian whispered one night, as they watched the city lights from their fire escape. As fall painted the leaves golden, Leah proposed on a whim during a walk in the High Line Park. "Marry me, Lil. Let's honor what Grandma couldn't have." Lillian said yes, tears mingling with laughter. The engagement was a high point, but shadows loomed. News from home that Mark was ill, forcing Leah to confront unresolved feelings. Mark's diagnosis, heart disease, hit like a thunderbolt. Leah flew back to Chicago, Lillian by her side. The hospital room echoed Evelyn's last days, stirring painful memories. "I'm sorry for everything," Mark said weakly, gripping Leah's hand. "Your grandma's letter opened my eyes." Lillian waited outside, giving them space. The visit was emotional. Mark shared stories of Evelyn's quiet strength, hinting at her suppressed life. "She loved you fiercely, even if she showed it wrong." Leah nodded, forgiveness blooming slowly. Back in New York, the couple planned their wedding. A small affair in Brooklyn Botanical Garden, with family invited. Susan helped with details, a sign of mending bridges. But betrayal struck again. A distant cousin, fueled by old prejudices, leaked the engagement online, sparking hateful comments from conservative relatives. "Not in our family," one post read. The backlash tested their resolve. Lillian, usually resilient, broke down. "Why can't they just let us be?" Leah held her, vowing to fight. They went public with an op-ed in a local paper, sharing Evelyn's story anonymously. "Love transcends generations," Leah wrote. The piece went viral, drawing support from unexpected quarters. Amid the drama, their romance flourished. Quiet nights cooking Italian in their cramped kitchen, dancing to jazz records, moments of pure joy. Lillian's art series, inspired by their journey, featured abstract portraits of hidden loves, dedicated to Evelyn and Clara. Climax built as the wedding approached. Mark's health improved enough for him to attend, but tensions simmered. At the rehearsal dinner in a cozy Chicago tavern, a heated argument erupted with the cousin. "You're dishonoring Grandma," he shouted. Leah stood tall. "No, I'm honoring her truth, the one she hid." Lillian intervened, her voice steady. "This is about love, not judgment." The room divided, but Mark silenced the dissent. "Enough. My daughter deserves happiness." It was a turning point, the family fracturing but realigning. The wedding day dawned bright, cherry blossoms in full bloom. Leah walked down the aisle in a simple white dress, Lillian in flowing blue, their eyes locked. Vows exchanged were heartfelt. "Through storms and secrets, I choose you." Susan wept, Mark beamed. Even Tommy sent a card of congratulations. Honeymoon in the Hamptons brought serenity. Beach walks whispered futures. But back home, reality intruded. Lillian landed a major gallery show, but Leah struggled with writer's block, haunted by Evelyn's legacy. "What if our kids face the same?" she worried. Lillian reassured her. "We'll teach them love without fear." Their life settled into a rhythm. Weekends in the city, visits to Chicago. Mark and Susan grew closer to Lillian, sharing family recipes and stories. A year later, Leah published a memoir, Hidden Hearts, blending her story with Evelyn's. It became a bestseller, sparking conversations on generational trauma in LGBT families. The success was bittersweet. Royalties funded a scholarship for queer youth in Chicago. But personal highs came with lows. Lillian faced a health scare. A benign lump, but it shook them. In the waiting room, Leah realized how fragile life was. "I can't lose you," she whispered. Recovery strengthened their bond, infusing their love with deeper gratitude. As time passed, they adopted a rescue dog, symbolizing their built family. Holidays blended traditions, Thanksgiving in Chicago, Christmas in New York. Evelyn's spirit lingered, not as a shadow, but a lesson in humanity. One evening, sorting old photos, Leah found another letter from Clara to Evelyn. "Our love was real, even in silence." It brought closure. Leah and Lillian framed it, a reminder of resilience. Their story, rich with drama and emotion, evolved into one of quiet triumph. Love, once forbidden, now celebrated. A testament to the human heart's capacity for change. Years blurred into a tapestry of milestones. Leah's journalism career took off. She covered LGBT rights for a major outlet, her voice amplified by personal experience. Lillian's art graced museums, her pieces evoking the raw emotion of hidden romances. They bought a brownstone in Brooklyn, filling it with laughter, art, and the occasional family visit. Mark passed peacefully 5 years later, his last words to Leah, "I'm proud of you." Susan moved closer, becoming a doting grandma to their adopted daughter, Clara. Named in honor of Evelyn's lost love. Little Clara, with Lillian's curls and Leah's determination, grew up in a home brimming with acceptance. Conflicts arose as they do in life. Clara faced bullying at school for having two moms, echoing Leah's past. But armed with stories of Evelyn, they navigated it together. "Your great-grandma taught us strength," Leah told her, turning pain into power. Romantic sparks never faded. Anniversaries were marked with trips. Paris, where they renewed vows. San Francisco, tracing pride history. Their love was a living thing, evolving through arguments and reconciliations, always rooted in deep emotion. A poignant moment came when Susan revealed more letters from Evelyn's attic. One detailed her regret. "I wish I had the courage you have, Leah." It humanized Evelyn further, transforming her from antagonist to tragic figure. Leah visited her grave in Chicago's cemetery, laying flowers. "I forgive you, Grandma, and thank you for the truth." The family expanded. Lillian's mom joined holidays, blending lineages. Thanksgiving dinners featured Evelyn's recipes alongside new traditions, symbolizing unity. In quieter times, Leah reflected on the journey. The betrayal, the drama, it all led to this. "We turned pain into purpose," she said to Lillian one sunset on their rooftop, wine glasses clinking. Clara's teenage years brought new drama. Her first crush, a girl from school. Leah and Lillian guided her with wisdom born of experience. Love who you love, they advised, watching her bloom. As they aged, health challenges tested them. Leah's arthritis slowed her, but Lillian's care was unwavering. Through sickness and health, Lillian teased, echoing their vows. Their story inspired others. Leah's book spawned a documentary, interviewing queer elders about hidden lives. It won awards, but the real reward was letters from readers. You gave me hope. In their golden years, they retired to a cottage in upstate New York, surrounded by woods and memories. Clara visited with her partner, the cycle of love continuing. One crisp autumn day, Leah and Lillian sat on the porch, hands entwined. We did it, Leah whispered. Lillian smiled. Against all odds. The ending was bittersweet. Lillian passed first, peacefully in her sleep. Leah mourned deeply, but found solace in their shared legacy. She scattered Lillian's ashes in Central Park, where they had dreamed as young lovers. Leah lived on, writing and advocating until her end. In her will, she left everything to Clara with a note. Love freely as we did. Their tale, dramatic and humane, echoed through generations, a reminder that truth, once revealed, sets hearts free. In America's vast landscape, from Chicago's winds to New York's lights, love prevailed, human and enduring.